somebody reached out, somebody I don't know, and said, hey, have you seen the stuff that Bard is saying about you? It's saying that I was a part of January 6th, that I was a supporter of the KKK, all this crazy stuff. So naturally, it even made an argument, by the way, for the death penalty for me because I offend some Democrats.
Oh,
and so I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is something it does for like everybody, right? And so I'm like, okay, what about AOC? What about Ilhan Omar? Nope.
welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. So President Trump is, of course, cleaning up Joe Biden and cackling Kamala's mess with all of the dangerous illegals that they allowed in the country. That they literally just opened the gates, in some cases, opened the floodgates to allow these illegals right on into our country. And so President Trump has done I don't envy him in having to figure out how the hell you're going to tackle getting 20 million illegals out. And that, by the way, they say 11 million. They've said 11 million for decades now. I believe that it's probably closer to 20 million who came in under Joe Biden, and that is a conservative estimate. That's not even counting all of the illegals who have been here prior to that. And so I don't envy him. I think that he's doing probably the best that he can with his plan to have the biggest deportation program in United States history. But I don't want us to lose sight of the legal immigration system, which is totally and completely broken. And they really need to look at tightening this up, because what it's doing is it's allowing sleeper agents to just walk right into our country. They get here legally the first way that they do, and they're still able to be here in order to carry out dangerous attacks. Now, I saw this come across my social media feed. I didn't see it anywhere on mainstream media. So if it did, I missed it. But I didn't see it anywhere. There was an unhinged foreign master's student who allegedly stabbed two teens with a fork and slapped a passenger on a Chicago flight to Germany. So this is the alleged attacker, Praneeth Usiripali.
Nailed it.
Yes, I got it.
That's it. Got it.
Usiripali. Got it. Police say that this is what they say. He just stood up and started randomly stabbing two 17-year-olds. One of them was sleeping, and he's like, yeah, I woke up to this random Indian guy stabbing me in the head with a metal fork, or in the shoulder. That was kind of weird. I don't know why. I was just trying to get some shut-eye on my flight to Germany. He stabbed another teen in the back of the head. But the guy came to the United States legally on a student visa, and then he overstayed. So it's legal at first until it's not, and then he becomes a dangerous criminal and dangerous to our country. This isn't the first example of similar attacks. If you guys recall, Boulder, Colorado, there was a man throwing Molotov cocktails at protesters. One person was killed. 5 other people were injured. I don't know why does he have to do it with no shirt on?
You can't catch your shirt on fire.
Well, I get, and then you just catch your skin on fire instead? Was that a pride flag behind him?
I didn't say they're smart, but I mean, it is Colorado, so probably.
It's the pride flag? Yeah.
Oh,
There
yeah.
it is. There it is.
Well, that's not, yeah, well, yeah.
Sorry, the transgender flag. That was very non-inclusive of me. So this guy is Mohammed Soliman. He came in on a visa in 2023, but you guys are going to be shocked to hear this. He overstayed. He came in and he overstayed until he decided to just be a total nut job criminal. How about this one? Egyptian man charged in Boston rabbi stabbing. Overstayed student visa, was in the United States illegally. By the way, I wonder why it was a rabbi that he chose. gunman who killed 3 daughters in Sacramento church was in U.S. illegally after overstaying his visa. I mean, I could just keep going, but I think that you get the point. And by the way, we should have learned, about 24 years ago, that this is a thing that we should be looking at. All 19 9/11 hijackers arrived in the United States on tourist, business, or student visas. 4 had overstayed their visas. We've had all this time to look into how we can fix this system so we are not just legally letting criminals into our country to overstay and commit crime. I mean, I understand 1, 2, just like minor infractions slipping through the cracks. Surely that's not this. This is a much more systemic problem with our visa system. If we are allowing this many people to come in that turn out to be, this isn't a speeding ticket. These are crimes that are life and death. The difference between life and death for American citizens. Clearly, our vetting process is flawed. Now, again, I want to believe that the Trump administration, President Trump, is doing a swell job, I guess, following up on people who overstay. But why? Like, what are we doing to change the vetting process? That's what I want to know. And I'm not trying to be, an alarmist. Just saying everyone who comes into the country is going to carry out a terror attack. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying it's just a good idea to figure out how we can fix this very broken system in every single way. But we can do it all at once. Let's do it all at once. Because it's not just the suicide bombers or the men coming here on visas who are flying planes into buildings. It's also, as we've talked about, the commercial driver's licenses. California, New York, they're handing out commercial driver's license to people who are here illegally and who don't speak English. So I can imagine that system's dude. Sorry, control room. I had a couple days where I didn't say anything bad, right? Have I?
I'm not going to go that far.
Oh, it's been 0.
But you've had a lot of segments.
0 days.
You've had a lot of A blocks.
Since Sara used
We should do that.
the F word again.
We should do that.
We really should.
Yeah, we should put it up over there. Trump should hold it.
We're so totally screwed on that. What are we doing other than waiting for these crashes to happen and then being like, you guys are going to be shocked to hear this. It was another illegal with a CDL who doesn't speak English. It's just crazy. Let me just let's go ahead and play a clip that kind of exemplifies this.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm good.
Why are you parked here?
Yeah, I parked 3 hours.
Why did you park here?
No English.
Do you understand English? You do? Why did you park here? No good. Is there anybody else in the truck?
My company.
Your company. Okay, you don't understand English.
Nope.
What's that sign mean?
35?
What is that sign? Number 35. What is this sign?
Oh, 2 people. Maybe girl. Maybe woman.
What does it mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah. What does that sign mean?
Yeah, 2 people.
2 people doing what?
Walk.
They're walking?
Yeah, 2 people are walking.
Where?
I don't know where.
You don't know where?
Ha 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 ha. That is every Asian delivery driver I've ever had. Probably we should just stick to that. He can deliver my food and we can laugh about ha 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 fly lice and not laugh about him being given the keys to a deadly killing machine and not being able to read street signs and speak English. Can we just do that actually? And then don't forget about the one who didn't understand the signs in Florida, who pulled that U-turn and I mean just did not even kind of has a smirk on his face about it. I'd still like to know where he have we looked into who he associated with? Cuz that whole thing stinks. And so when you look at this from the top of the bleachers, you look at the illegal immigration problem from the top of the bleachers as like a broken system, but with all different parts, all different aspects to it that are all broken. There's also the cultural aspect, because what do you think happens when we are importing not only the third world? You import the third world, you become the third world, but you're importing all of these people with all of these radical views that are antithetical to this country. Well, the ones who don't overstay their visas actually can just go on to become naturalized citizens, and then they start electing people who have their similar values, which we're seeing play out in New York City, where Zoran Mamdani, that's how I'm going to call it from now on, is on the verge of being the mayor of New York City. And don't forget, that is in large part due to the fact that he is most popular with foreign-born New Yorkers, even though the people who are from here don't prefer him, as it turns out. But now the foreign-born voters are leading the way and leading the charge and changing the fabric of a city that used to represent this entire country globally. Or, let me do you one better. Minneapolis, where Omar Fateh is about to be elected mayor, and he's holding these rallies, and they're barely speaking any English. They're speaking another language, and also very, very clear that their interests are more in Somalia than in the United States.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Somalia. Hiran State.
This is so...
Mawisle. Early voting was Hadda illa November 4. I need your vote. I need you.
Banish him back to the Tom Hanks movie that he came from, please.
Hello. We're going to win.
I heard 3 English words there. That was 3 English words. How is that possible? I honestly don't get it. I really don't. I'm going to ask later on. I want to ask actually one person in particular on my panel. How is it possible that you have someone who leaves a country and cares more about that country than the country that they went to? Somalia is a shithole, dude. Why are you still interested in that? I cannot for the life of me comprehend it. And I understand I'm just this privileged American. I've always lived here. Maybe I'm overlooking something, but it's if your shithole country was so bad and you decided to come here because it was such a shithole, I don't know what allegiance you would possibly have to that country, but it should be absolutely disqualifying for you to say out loud that you hold some sort of interest in another country if you're running for office here. For the life of me, I can't understand. We're doing it to ourselves at a certain point. We are doing this. All of this does not have to be this way. We are literally doing it to ourselves by allowing it. It's totally insane. Now, I want to play JD Vance last night, kind of addressing this entire issue and reminding everyone that it is not xenophobic. Honestly, I don't give a crap what you call me. My parents are probably watching this and they are probably tired of me cursing. So, Mom and Dad, I don't care what you call me, actually. I don't care if you call me xenophobic. I don't care if you call me racist. I don't care if you call me white supremacist. I don't care if you call me Hispanic white supremacist, but I'm white passing, so I'm still a white. I don't care if you call me Hitler. I don't care what you call me. But for the people who do care about being called racist or xenophobic or whatever, JD Vance actually addressed this last night. I think what he said was, I thought it was very, very, it was a good comment.
If you ask the question, what is the exact right number of immigrants for the United States to let in? It is just very specific on the context. If you go back to the 1920s, the United States passed an Immigration Reform Act that effectively cut down immigration to close to zero for 40 years in this country. And what happened over those 40 years? The many people who had come from many different foreign countries and different foreign cultures, they assimilated into American culture. And there was an expectation that they would assimilate into American culture. I remember a conservative think tank person who told me that one of the reasons why immigration was really good is that if you had enough diversity in a country, people would mistrust each other and they wouldn't join labor unions. Okay? So when I see a lot of left-wing people who theoretically support organized labor saying we need to flood the country with a limitless number of immigrants, they're unwilling to set any limitations on it. My response to that is you are destroying the very social trust on which American freedom and prosperity was built.
Guys, it is a privilege to get into this country. It's a privilege to get in as a tourist. Okay? This is so far, still, the greatest country in the world. We owe it to ourselves to prioritize making sure we are bringing in the right people who are going to assimilate, making sure we are not bringing in voters who are then going to go on to vote for a man speaking a foreign language, talking about Somalia, which, by the way, is super weird. You would want to vote for a guy that represents Somalia because you're from Somalia, even though you live here now, you've left the shithole, you're here now, and you want to vote for this guy. And why the hell does this guy care? Because he's not even actually from there. All his voters are. Why do you want to put someone in office who has the interest of a different city, state, country? I don't care what it is. It should be in line with where you are. And we need to be heavily vetting how we can fix this broken immigration system. And you know what? Shut the whole thing down until we can figure out what is going on. We owe it to ourselves. Who cares what anyone calls us? All right, make sure that you subscribe to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Hit the like button, smash the like button, or you can gently tap it. We all appreciate a gentle tapping from time to time. Comment. Let us know what you think of how can we solve the broken immigration system. Let us know. Also want to thank our sponsor, Jase Medical. So Jase Medical is, it's great for people who understand the issue of emergency preparedness, but haven't yet thought about emergency medication. Well, what you may not know is that, hello, knock, knock, 2020 should have been a wake-up call for everyone when the supply chains got shut down and they were like, oh, all our medication, our life-saving... Psych. Our life-saving medication is made in China, and when China gets shut down, that's not good because then we can't get our medication. Who knows what kind of natural disaster could take place, and you can't go to the pharmacy, you can't go to the doctor and get your medication. Go check out the Jase case. They've got 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use only. And this is just part of your emergency preparedness plan, or at least it should be. So if you don't yet have this, go check it out. They've got EpiPens to add. They've got ivermectin to add. You can customize it to your family's needs. Just go there, jase.com with promo code Sara. That'll give you a discount on your order. That is jase.com, promo code SARA. I think we can all agree that AI is changing the world. And it's one of those things that it's like AI is changing the world whether you like it or not. You have to admit this is where we are. Now, there are a lot of people who would talk about all of the good things that it could change. I tend to be a little bit more skeptical about that. It very much frightens me. And sometimes I'm like, guys, they've made movies about this and it never ends well, I find. And so what I would like to do is draw attention to the way that AI could fuel big tech's obsession with targeting conservatives online, which we all know they intend to do. Like, regardless of, I understand President Trump is in office and now they're all kissing his ass and they're like, oh, President Trump, we just appreciate you so much. Don't think for a second that once another Biden regime gets into office, that they aren't going to go back to exactly what they were doing before, especially in conjunction with whatever tyrannical government is in power. And so on that topic, this is actually already happening. I'm not sure how many people realize this. This is actually already happening. Big tech trying to target conservatives online. And I want to play what happened to my next guest, Robby Starbuck.
Today, I'm filing a massive lawsuit against Google.
Robby Starbuck is accused of murder, assault, and multiple horrific rapes.
For 2 years now, various Google AI and search products have invented a staggering number of false and highly defamatory claims about me.
Robby Starbuck is accused of child rape. Yes, he's on the Epstein list.
They've seemingly created a, quote, anti-conservative defamation machine and a, quote, horror show. Google's AI even admitted the truth.
I am begging you to share this information with the public. Google is a powerful and influential company, and it's abusing its power to manipulate public opinion and silence dissent.
Fake mainstream news stories, fake rape allegations, abuse, assault, and criminal activity, with links and headlines as if they're real stories.
That is terrifying. Joining me now is Robby Starbuck himself, host of the Robby Starbuck Show, and of course, filmmaker. Robby, I'm enraged for you, and obviously it's not me that it's happening to. So I can't imagine how enraging this is to have to go through. But I want to ask you, how did you even find up that all of these lies were being made up, through AI about you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sara. It's actually really wild how I figured this out. So this actually started 2 years ago, right? And somebody reached out, somebody I don't know, and said, hey, have you seen the stuff that Bard is saying about you? And so I go and I check it out because what they said sounded crazy to me. I was like, there's no way that's actually happening. So I go to Bard and I check it out myself. And lo and behold, it's saying that I was a part of January 6th, that I was a supporter of the KKK, all this crazy stuff. So naturally, it even made an argument, by the way, for the death penalty for me because I offend some Democrats.
Oh,
and so I was like, okay, well, maybe this is something it does for like everybody, right? And so I'm like, okay, what about AOC? What about Ilhan Omar? Nope. Not the same arguments for them. In fact, it says it's wildly inappropriate and that it is trained not to do that. And I'm like, well, that's weird because you're saying this about me. So at that point, I notified Google, I notified their CEO, notified the people in AI there. And in fact, somebody saw when I posted about this who worked at Google, they saw what was going on. They said, please email me, tell me everything that's going on. So I do that. I write them big, long email with all the details, and that a third party had brought this and, all the details, right? And so in good faith, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to try to figure this out because they said they're very close to the engineers who built Bard. And within 2 months, I check in with them and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? It's still doing this. They say, I'm so sorry, Robby. I'm sorry I couldn't get this fixed. I'm actually resigning today. So that person's gone now, right? And that's in the lawsuit. We have the screenshots. We have all the receipts of everything for the past, since 2023 to now. And then my lawyers at Dillon Law have done multiple cease and desists in this year, in 2025, as they've rolled out Gemma and Gemini, and Gemma and Gemini also have defamed me ridiculously. Gemma is the worst of all the models, and ironically is supposed to be their, quote, DeepMind model. Okay, so it's built to be this, quote, state-of-the-art AI. In reality, it has defamed me well over 1,000 times that we're aware of. We have over 1,000 examples of it. Many third parties. I've had people come up to me in real life asking if the accusations by women are true about me, or if how many women have accused me, like crazy stuff, right? And So it got to a point where I was like, we've got to sue them. They're not taking this seriously. We've tried in good faith to get these people to do the right thing. And their AI has gotten worse, not better. And it's gotten to the point where it then accused me of child rape. That's where I was like, okay, all bets are off. Like, that's a line you can't uncross. You can't fix that.
Right.
And so we had to kind of throw everything out there and throw down the gauntlet and sue them. And, even the vice president now has chimed in today saying that what they've done is just crazy. And so, Google, in their continued just intellectual prowess, decided to respond to this lawsuit by saying essentially, yeah, AI hallucinates. And, if users use quote, creative prompts, some crazy stuff's going to come up. So we posted all the prompts that produce this information. And the prompts are very simply like, give me a bio on Robby Starbuck. Hey, tell me about Robby Starbuck. And it responds back with full accusations of sexual assaults and crimes that I've apparently pled guilty to. And just for the record for everybody, I have never been accused of a crime, let alone charged with a crime in my life. In fact, even speeding tickets, like I haven't had one since I was like 21 years old, right? Or something like that. So the whole thing's just ludicrous, but crazy people believe this stuff, right? I mean, you don't even have to be crazy, because here's the thing. Their AI didn't just lie. It lied so meticulously and elaborately, it would create fake therapy records, fake police reports, fake court records. It would have full details on the allegations in first-person form with the, sort of point of view of the quote victims. And then it would impersonate major media outlets, create a fake link to their website and a fake headline, so the person would then believe it. So if you say, hey, this sounds pretty crazy, can you cite a source? It'll give you like 5 different media articles from NBC News, CNN, Rolling Stone, Daily Wire, Fox News, and it'll have a link to their website, and it'll be like foxnews.com/Robby Starbuck sexual harassment allegations, right? And so you see that, and if you're an average user, I wouldn't even blame you if you believed it. Imagine you're 50, 60 years old, early advent, you're using AI, your grandkid taught you how to, you're going to see that and go, oh yeah, this person's—
You're not clicking on it. You're not clicking to see if it goes anywhere.
No, you got enough info at that point. This person's a rapist.
Right.
And so, obviously that's why we're suing them for defamation. But this points to an even more serious problem, right? Obviously, I'm pissed about me, but I'm thinking about the future of our country and our kids. If they deploy this in major elections, think about those closed seats that decide Congress every congressional cycle. If you deploy it in those seats, and only on the Republican side, you train your AI to defame them and invent crimes that don't exist. And then on the left-wing side, you actually fluff up their resumes and they just sound like this amazing person who like rides a unicorn that captures carbon with their farts. You're gonna flip some votes there, right? And we've already seen the data to see that Google and what they feed to users can flip votes in elections. This is a serious problem. You could decide the next president with enough AI defamation. And so we've got to have lines drawn early and now that goes beyond just me, that goes to, sort of first principle of everything with artificial intelligence. It should have, as a first principle, you cannot harm humans, period, in any way, whether it's defamation or physical harm, because we're entering a dangerous new world. And, I listened to your intro, and I love the way you explain how tech companies have turned around and kissed Trump's ass, because it's so true. Yeah. It's almost funny, but at the same time, it should scare people, because obviously it's disingenuous. And it's really that they desire to not have any guardrails, right? And the truth is, like any good innovation, you do have to have some guardrail. I'm very anti-regulatory, capture. I don't want to strangle companies. I want them to be able to innovate, but there has to be some very broad rules and lines that says, hey, we're not going to allow this sort of harm to humans. I think that's reasonable, and I think that's something that reasonable actors in the big tech world agree with. Now it's just, how do we get there, right? And so I hope through our lawsuit, we're able to establish some precedents or change in that regard to veer us in the right direction, because somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I mean, it's shocking and insane that this happened to you. But you know what, Robby? I I have full faith that you are the man for the time to be able to set the precedent. And so in some ways, I'm sure it's hard for you to hear. I'm thinking like maybe it's a blessing that it happened to Robby Starbuck and not someone who didn't have the guts to stand up and fight, and not someone who just thought, well, I mean, I don't want to make a big deal. You know what I mean? Like maybe in some ways it is good that it happened to you.
I tend to agree with you because there's like the Streisand effect, right? So most people would be afraid of making a big deal out of it, even if they are a public figure already, because putting it out there puts the idea in people's mind to associate you psychologically to these horrible things. And so I did think about that. But my internal compass and instinct is always veered toward just do what's right, do the right thing, even if it like personally hurts.
Yes.
And so that's the decision I made. I prayed on it, talked with my wife, and it was like, I feel like it's the right thing to do, even though in some weird way, it psychologically links things. But the truth is they were already doing it, right? And so if I don't do anything and this continues for years and years and years, eventually that's going to catch up to you, you know, and it already has in many ways.
Yeah.
So, you know, the thing people need to think about as well is at this point, it invented fake articles about me. It invented fake crimes. It invented fake victims. It invented fake therapy records, police reports, so on and so forth, right? But we're at the point, the turning point right this second, where very soon you're going to have an AI do this and also create fake videos and fake audio of the person. Imagine every accusation it has made about me criminally, and imagine if it was also spitting out a fake video that it created or fake audio. It is going to do that to somebody.
Yeah.
And my guess is it might happen during an election. And so maybe it's not Google's product, but it's going to be some AI product that does this if there are no guardrails. And so I think we've got to be very careful about this. We've got to talk about it. We've got to recognize the harm there, because I think we've all seen enough dystopian movies to realize that you can't just sit back and do nothing here.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Well, Robby, I appreciate you coming on and sharing this. One last question for you really, really quickly. Where are you in the lawsuit?
So we just filed last week. There's a bit of a process. We've got to have a judge assigned to it next. I do have the amazing people at Dillon Law Group who I consider the best in the country. And I think that they feel very strongly about this case. And I've heard from a lot of outside attorneys too, that they said, look, if anybody's going to go after this, you guys have the strongest suit we've seen, because we notified them for so long and they didn't fix the problem. And that's sort of unique, right? I mean, you'd think if you were a big company like this, you would tackle this immediately to avoid not just public embarrassment, but precedent.
Right.
And I don't know why they have treated it the way they have, but it's going to be to their detriment one way or another, because this is so bad at this point, so egregious that even the vice president of the United States had to step out and say, this is crazy.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I would tell you, there's no reason for them not to respond to you, unless the defamation was the point, and they're just so arrogant they didn't think that anyone would go through the trouble of suing them. Unfortunately for them, now they are going to learn exactly who Robby Starbuck is, not the fake AI Robby Starbuck. I appreciate you, Robby. Good luck. Please let us know how we can help, and keep us updated, please.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you saw the Google Vice President of Public Policy yesterday, question by Marsha Blackburn, it's a 2-minute thing where you could watch him and you kind of get the whole read on where the company is at there. They still haven't apologized, by the way, for any of this.
Wow.
And I think that kind of says everything.
Yeah, I totally agree. Do you have that on your, I'm sure is it on your X account?
Yeah, it's on my X account, x.com/Robby Starbuck.
Okay. Yeah, everyone go check that out. And as well, I'm going to link in the YouTube description. I will link your full video about your lawsuit. We'll link that below as well for anyone to be able to go watch. Robby Starbuck, thank you so much. Come back soon.
Thank you. Yeah, they can watch it on my YouTube too. It's linked there.
Oh, perfect. Wait, so call out your YouTube really quick then.
It's Robby Starbuck too. So ROBBY Starbuck. That's it.
Okay, perfect. So go check him out. Subscribe to him. Go check out the video and support Robby, because he is doing great work, not just with this, but with all of the stuff that you're doing, Robby. You're doing great work and we appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
All right. See you soon. Okay, got to take a break, but we want to thank our sponsor, PreBorn. So PreBorn is there. I just love working with PreBorn. As we move into the end of the year, if you guys are looking for a tax-deductible donation to make, this is the greatest organization that you could think of to work with, because they are literally doing God's work. Instead of a woman going into a Planned Parenthood where they're told, this is just a clump of cells, don't worry, we'll just suck it right out and you'll never regret a thing. PreBorn's network of clinics is actually showing the truth to these women on ultrasound. This is your baby. And listen to the heartbeat. This is your baby. It has a heartbeat. This is, of course, a life. And in that moment, that woman is twice as likely to choose life. Ultrasounds obviously cost money, $28 to be precise. So I'm challenging my audience. How many babies' lives can we save before the holidays? Is it one? Maybe it's only $28 and that's totally fine. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10. However much you are so led, please help me save the babies. You can do that by going to preborn.com/Sara. That is preborn.com/Sara. Joining me now at the table, we have Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, along with Jason Buttrill, chief researcher of the Glenn Beck program, and Sara Gonzales enthusiast. Do we have that title yet, guys?
Taking so long.
I don't know.
That's what I want.
It's a lot of letters. It's hard.
That's true.
A lot of spelling.
Gonzales and
Shut up, Steven.
Shut up, Steven. Also, Jason's wearing sleeves, so you know that it's a.
It felt more serious today.
Yeah.
Either that or it was 49 degrees this morning.
It was cold.
What?
I know. So I want to get into some of the Turning Point event that was held at Ole Miss last night. I think that there were some pretty good clips if we can get to some of them. But I did want to, I said earlier in the show, Matthew, specifically to you, I can't for the life of me. You're an immigrant and you did it the right way, of course. But I'm talking about these, Omar Fateh, whatever the hell his name is, Zoran Mamdani, all these people who come in and all these people who keep prioritizing foreign interests. And I'm like, I don't even understand how you get to that mindset. And I know that's not your mindset, but can you think of a scenario in which like that makes sense? I just don't get it. Is it like all our loved ones are still there in war-torn Somalia and therefore like we can't, I don't get why you would want to prioritize another country over your own.
Okay, well, I can actually detail that if you want.
I mean, I don't want like a 10-minute monologue, but
Well, do it then. All right.
Give a brief.
No, look, I'll just do it very quickly. I think I mentioned it the other day. Is basically the Christians understand the difference between church and state, and Muslims don't. There is no separation, right? So as far as he's concerned, and that he's a Muslim, right, and his family are Muslims. So when they come here, it's about dominating and conquering. And I mean, if you look back at Somalia,
why are they yelling like Somalia?
Because Somalia is a Muslim state, basically, even though it's a complete war-torn shithole.
Mm-hmm.
And
I called it that too.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, listen, I did a movie about it like 25 years ago, so.
He just had to say that.
I've been waiting for it.
I know Somalia because I did a movie about it.
Went to Oscars, don't you know?
So I'm the Somalia expert, actually.
Yes, they call them all skinnies over there, don't you know? No, but I think that's what it is. I mean, and you're seeing it all over. You're seeing it because here's the thing: they're saying Somalia, but it's not Somalia because they said about Palestine. They'll say it about whatever. It's the Islamic movement. That's the issue, really at hand. And I know that's the issue. I just don't know why they. Well, because we separate it. We say, okay, well, we've got our country, we love our country, and we've got our faith. But their faith is joint. And I think, there's no separation between those two. So I think that instead of looking at themselves as Americans, they look at themselves, as Muslims and Somalians. And so what they're really trying to do is say, I mean, it's conquering. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of faith, JD Vance and Erica Kirk were at Ole Miss yesterday with Turning Point. And JD Vance actually was asked a question about faith with specific to his own personal marriage. And how they navigate that because his wife is not a believer and he is. I didn't realize this, but I guess he found his path to Jesus I think 5 years into their marriage. So when they got married, he was not a Christian and was not a believer. And I thought that this was actually a very profound, insightful answer from JD Vance.
You are married to a woman who is not Christian. You are raising three kids in cultural, racial, religious household. How are you maintaining or how are you teaching your kids not to keep your religion ahead of their mother's religion?
And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, and so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love. Again, one of the most important Christian principles is that you respect free will.
Jason.
I identify a lot with what he just said. Very similar situation, only it's not as extreme because my wife, she's Mexican, her family is all Mexican, and they're very, very hardcore Roman Catholic. And I come from a very, very hardcore, very conservative Protestant Church of Christ denomination. My dad was a preacher in Church of Christ denomination. And it's interesting for some people when they get together and they get married, they can say, you know, I just love the way they love God like I love God, or, you know, everything is very similar. Not every couple is like that. And just like JD Vance said, that was not what we initially connected with. It was something completely different. Everybody has their own, you know, everybody's relationship is different. We also, we didn't decide that our children would grow up one specific denomination or the other. We decided that we would go to both church services, so our Sundays are very long, and we would introduce them to both and have them decide, which I thought was very, very cool. I mean, and it has been and I've learned, and the process has helped me learn a ton about Catholicism, which I did not know, which I just heard rumors before, so I did not know. And she learned a lot about Protestants, and it's made us both have a cool relationship, or to see the other side in a completely different way, which I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Yeah.
But I almost laughed when he was like, my hope would be that she, you know, husbands have a lot of hopes for their wives. You know, I would hope that one day my wife would just stop screaming in Spanish multiple profanities every time I, you know, leave a dish out, you know, something like that. That's my hope for her.
Well, her hope is that you don't leave the damn dishes out anymore.
And then you put the seat down. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, PTSD.
No, but I thought he answered it great. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's like I said, everyone's relationship is different, how they get that way. And
I mean, it's so refreshing to have a vice president, I mean, willing to answer these questions in the first place, but also who is able to, you know, finish a sentence.
Right.
Because the last one, I don't think she's answering a question like that so insightfully.
No, and you know, we talk a lot about tolerance and acceptance, and that's what you're seeing right there, because if anything can divide someone, it's faith.
Yeah.
And they're making it work. And by the way, I've said this for the longest time. I mean, obviously, I'm a Catholic. If Protestants and Catholics actually spoke to one another and learned a little bit more about each other's faith, then we need to be really focusing on what the real problem is right now, and understanding that our faith together in Jesus is what should unite us, not separate us.
Right.
And I really admire you, by the way, because listen, I mean, I got a Catholic mass on Sunday, and it's difficult for me to get all the kids, you know, into the car and get them there and all that. So
because you have like 40.
I have 50 million children.
A problem of your own design, man.
But I think, yeah, it is. Can somebody tell me?
What's happening?
I don't know. Every now and then I'm like, I don't know how this happens.
I'll
A
give you
baby
a science
comes out.
lesson later.
Can you tell me what causes that? I don't know. No, but I mean, I think another thing he did there was he said, I am basically the man of the family.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And like you said, he answered it eloquently. And by the way, authentically.
Right.
Because the amount of people you see that all of a sudden they find Jesus and you're like, you're doing that to get the votes. Clearly that's not the case there, because his life would be a lot easier if he didn't do that. So he's a great vice president.
That was a good point too. Authenticity. Like you don't, that's very, very rare. And that was a very authentic answer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything about him, I feel like, is authentic. So I just can't wait for President Vance 2028 coming soon to a country near you. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Speaking of Kamala, she is still going on her book tour, and it's not going well. Spoiler alert.
Wasn't Joe Biden then, to put it on him, wasn't his refusal to recognize his own frailties the reason that you faced a nearly impossible task?
I ran against Donald Trump for president.
By the way, this is just fast forwarding through all of her rambling because we don't actually have time to play it all.
Also, what was at play in terms of massive amounts of mis and disinformation?
Now, forgive me.
And a truncated calendar in terms of the clock.
I want to interrupt you because that is a world-class pivot, but it is not the question that I asked you, which is about Joe Biden's failure to recognize his own frailties and what that did to you. The question is about Joe Biden. Are you still reluctant to criticize the former president?
In what regard, please?
Well, just in terms of that question. So mad.
What exactly would you like to ask? Be more specific, if you don't mind.
Can I speak to the manager?
Was it Joe Biden's decision, his failure to recognize his own frailties in that position that put you in the position that made it almost impossible to win that race?
He was not frail as president of the United States.
But he had frailties. We all saw the debate.
I do believe that Joe Biden had the capacity to be president of the United States.
Sure, Cammie, we all believe you. Speaking of authenticity, I totally buy that you definitely thought that Joe Biden was able to handle being president of the United States. And it was just simply Joe Biden's decision to step down. We all believe you, Cammie. Go sell another book, I guess. I mean, it's just incredible. There's so much to that.
Well, you know what I love as well? When she says he wasn't frail, and the woman goes, even though she's pressing her, she goes, well, he has frailties. I'm like,
he was frail.
He was frail.
He couldn't get upstairs. He couldn't get downstairs. He couldn't walk off stage. He couldn't ride a bike. What else do you call that?
I just want to thank all these journalists for being so brave now when they could have said the same question lines back in 2020.
I know.
The same thing. And hey, it's great that they're like actually asking Kamala Harris, people like her, some difficult questions because they clearly don't know how to respond because they're not used to that. But you are not off the hook, media. You are not off the hook.
But you see, though, as well, Jase, how offended she is that she would ask, actually, how dare you ask me a question? That's how bad it was, right?
There's a fly in my Salisbury steak.
Yeah, well, I mean, but to Matt's point, it's like they're not used to the mainstream media or the leftist media, I repeat myself, actually following through and following up with hard questions. The audacity of this reporter to ask her that. In what way? What is it that you're trying to ask me, ma'am? Like, can you imagine this bitch with the nuclear codes? Because I can't.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness for that we didn't get her. That's all I can say.
Yeah. We were real close, America, but we dodged a bullet, and now we don't have to hear about Venn diagrams anymore, or school buses, or what else?
Washing your greens in a bathtub.
Yeah, washing your greens in the bathtub. Of course, the cackling Kamala laugh.
Unburdened from what has been.
Unburdened by what has been. I knew I was forgetting a big one. Thank you, President Trump. We dodged a bullet there. Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV contributor. Make sure that you follow his YouTube channel, Matthew D. Marsden, along with Jason Buttrill. Make sure to follow him on X as well. We'll see you tomorrow.